Good evening. Well, spring is officially here. Hello, Ren, Christy, good to see you. There is pollen floating around everywhere outside right now. It's a beautiful day, but if you were to look outside my window, I've got a flowering cherry tree and a fruiting plum tree. And boy, they are kicking out a lot of pollen. So if I sound a little bit congested, it's because I am. I'm working on that, by the way. I've been doubling up on my shield to see if that'll help with allergies, because there were some studies on that. So we'll see how that goes. I've got a great training for you guys tonight, some good information. We're going to give it just a couple of minutes here before we start. And then when the video is uploaded, of course, to our YouTube channel, our wonderful marketing team, most likely Kennedy, will edit out the first few minutes here and we'll get right into our training. There's my partner, Rob. How you doing, Rob? Tracy, Grossfield, how you doing? Shona, good to see you. We had a wonderful weekend here in Utah with the first ever regional for LifeWise held here in Salt Lake City. We've got Kansas City coming up, May 17th for the evening potluck and May 18th for the actual event. Visit your back office or get on one of our group chats or go to Hope Brokers to get more details on that. All right, let's get started. We've got a lot of information to cover tonight. I'm going to do an in-depth training on an amazing ingredient. In fact, it's so amazing that this product, Marine One by LifeWise, is only one ingredient. That's how amazing this ingredient is. You only need one. So let's get started. My name is Tracy Gibbs. I'm Chief Science Officer and co-founder of LifeWise. We are a direct sales, health and wellness, and wisdom company. I'm not going to say we're just health and wellness because we are so much more. Man, one of our products, I would say our key product or our flagship product is the LEAD program. It's a leadership development and human being development digital program where you can download a specific module every single month just for $35 and receive great instructions from our president, Dr. Chris Clem, who's got a PhD in developmental leadership or leadership development. So yes, we are more than just a health and wellness company. When I first started looking at a line of products for this company, right from the get-go, my partner said, we have got to have phytoplankton. What an amazing ingredient. And of course, I've been working with and known about phytoplankton since the beginning of my career. I started my schooling in Japan. Japan has a couple of companies that grow some amazing phytoplankton there. I know of a company in British Columbia. I know a company of Israel. There are some really cool sources of phytoplankton out there. So of course, I think we knew from the beginning of this company that we were going to do phytoplankton eventually. And here we are. On Saturday of this past week, we launched Marine One. Let me tell you some facts about phytoplankton and why we wanted from the beginning to have this ingredient as a product in our lineup. First and foremost, I would love to say that marine phytoplankton is also a flagship product. And it is. I think it's not a problem, it's a great thing. It's a great problem we have at LifeWise is that all of our products are super cool. And we know, Rob and I know, the corporate team know that, it's going to be hard and near impossible in today's day and age to afford to take every single one of our products. We understand that. I mean, my goodness, we just launched Lift. The One has been out since, near the beginning. Dream, Restore. These are all flagship products and could be amazing billion-dollar products in any category out there. I just talked about Shield. I love that product. I mean, my goodness, with a patented peptide that is a command molecule for your immune system. These are all amazing products. But, well, I'm not going to pick and choose, but I will put Marine One right up there at the top of necessary nutrients. Necessary to me means that they could have the greatest impact on your health and wellness. It is not a multivitamin. I want to make that really clear. But Marine One, Phytoplankton, does contain almost every nutrient known to man. Now, it's in micro doses, of course. I mean, we're talking dozens and dozens of trace minerals in micro doses. We're talking most of the major phytochemicals, including chlorophyll, of course, because it's green in micro doses. All the vitamins in micro doses. We'll get into that a little bit later. But for those of you who don't know anything about phytoplankton, we're going to start right with the basics. So I'm going to first tell you some cool facts about phytoplankton, and then I'll tell you about what makes up phytoplankton, and then we'll get into the specific phytoplankton that we use in Marine One. All right, we'll go from there. The first three things. First of all, I'm going to read these really cool facts because many of you may not know this about phytoplankton. First of all, phytoplankton, if you break that down, they're both Greek words because it's foundation when it was first discovered, and then they started studying it and realized what it was. They decided to call it phytoplankton because it really is like the foundation for life. But phyto first meaning plant, so phytonutrients means plant-based nutrients. Phyto means plant. Planktos means the wanderer or drifter. And the reason why they say that is because phytoplankton, it's a combination of plant life and animal life. It's right in between there. And it covers a broad spectrum of life forms. And I'll get to that a little bit later. But just imagine a mobile plant or a plant that can move by itself. That's what phytoplankton is. It can also, because of its huge nutrient content and a huge variety of nutrients, it's actually an organism that can survive harsh environments, from the mildest of oceans around Hawaii to the coldest of oceans in the Antarctic. It can survive. It needs light, just like most other life sources. But as far as temperature extremes, because of its broad spectrum of nutrients, it is an organism that can survive almost anywhere. Another fact that people don't know about phytoplankton, and this is really cool, over 50%, okay? 50% of our oxygen supply is provided by phytoplankton, and yet it makes up less than 1% of the biomass, plant biomass on this planet. So something that makes up less than 1% of this planet's biomass, so plant material, produces 50% of our oxygen. You literally would not be able to survive without phytoplankton because it, by the way, it consumes carbon dioxide to produce oxygen. It's like 8th grade biology. It's what you learn, how trees and things consume carbon dioxide and then through photosynthesis kick out oxygen. That's exactly what phytoplankton does. And again, it is as a structure in and of itself, produces over 50% of the oxygen. So it produces more oxygen than any other plant life known on Earth. So when you think about the Earth and our sustainability and our, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and everything like that, phytoplankton plays the largest role in Earth's sustainability, and it's also the foundational food supply. Do you guys remember like the food pyramid? And I think that might have been 7th or 8th grade biology too, where it has like humans at the top of the food chain and down at the very bottom of the food chain. The very bottom of the food chain is phytoplankton. So without phytoplankton, there is no life because there are certain smaller organisms that eat phytoplankton, and then fish eat those. And then, of course, you know, bears and birds and humans and other animals eat fish. Anyway, if you look at any ecosystem, phytoplankton is at the base. So let's get into, like, what is phytoplankton? A lot of people don't even know what I'm talking about. And now you know that the Greek origin of the word means, you know, a moving plant or a wandering plant. You know that it's super crucial for Earth and our environment. And by the way, there are massive amounts of phytoplankton in our oceans, all right? Massive amounts. I mean, that's why literally it can produce 50% of the oxygen. Well, even when you combine all that together, I already mentioned that it still makes up less than 1% of the biomass, and that's just because trees are humongous and phytoplankton is microscopic, all right? Okay, so there are many types of phytoplankton. I'm going to be training on specifically the one type we use and why we use it later. But if we look at the varieties of phytoplankton, from my recollection, there's about 5 or 6 major categories. And they cover everything from cyanobacteria. So cyanobacteria is like spirulina, okay? Chlorella, blue-green algae. These are all types or categories of phytoplankton. But they cover all the way up to these little hard shelled crustacean diatoms and things like that. So there are literally, in those 5 or 6 categories, there are hundreds of subcategories of phytoplankton. And all of them have been studied and well researched. And in fact, I suggest, if you want to know in depth about all the different varieties of phytoplankton out there, just go to Wikipedia. There's several pages on phytoplankton in Wikipedia. Most of it is irrelevant to us because we don't use the little diatom types of phytoplankton. We use a category in the microalgae category. And I'll just go ahead and move on to that. What is marine one? Which type of phytoplankton is marine one made up of? Now, you can write down this word or not. It's on your packaging when you buy it, but just for the purposes of training, I'll go ahead and spell it for you. But we use Tetraselmis chewy, okay? I learned early on in my career, and especially in my schooling, that if you want to remember a word, you have to associate it with something. And so I look at phytoplankton as a powerhouse of microalgae, and Chewie, as in Chewbacca from Star Wars, was the powerhouse for Han Solo. That's how I remembered Tetraselmis chewy, okay? It's C-H-U-I-I, tetra, T-E-T-R-A, so meaning earth, selmis, S-E-L-M-I-S, that's one word, Tetraselmis, and then chewy for Chewbacca. C-H-U-I-I. Sorry, but that's just how I remembered it. Now, why I chose Tetraselmis chewy is because of all the different phytoplankton out there, literally the hundreds of categories of phytoplankton. Chewy is the most nutrient-dense and most balanced in nutrient forms. In fact, when you look at nutritional compositions on planet Earth, it's the most like nutrient-dense product out there. And I've trained on this before, and I've had some people ask me, well, why didn't you include it in the one then? And there's a very simple reason why I didn't include it in the one. The one is a capsule and soft gel product. You guys, phytoplankton smells and tastes like dead 10-week-old rotten fish, okay? I would have loved to include marine phytoplankton, marine one, in our product, the one, but nobody would have taken it. You would have opened the bag and you would have been, oh my gosh, my product is rotten, it's gotten bad, what do we do? That would have been the experience. And so we had to wait until we could find a form that we could sell this product in that would not only smell good, but would taste good. And you can't just do it raw, because again, this is like a raw whole food vitamin. We don't manipulate this product in any way as the ingredient is what it is when it goes into this product. We can't do that with phytoplankton. So it's a separate product in and of itself. And the way we've been, well, let me get into, again, addressing why chewy. So not only is it complete balanced nutrition, when I say balanced nutrition, please do not think of this as a multivitamin. I already said that. It is not a multi-mineral. This will not replace your vitamins and minerals, okay? Just because it contains all the vitamins and minerals, it's minute amounts. For example, it's about 14 micrograms of calcium in every single strip. 14 micrograms, guys. How many milligrams? You need like 1,000 milligrams of calcium every day. So you would have to eat literally about 400 of these strips to get your daily supply of calcium, all right? So it's not going to replace the one. This is not, I hate calling this a multivitamin because it's way more than just that, but this has a daily supply of all your nutrients. This does not have a daily supply of all your nutrients, but it is loaded with just about every nutrient on earth. But we'll talk about what it does and what that combination does for you in a minute. It is also very high in SOD. I want you guys to remember that word, SOD, not sod like from your lawn, but sod meaning superoxide dismutase. That's a very important endogenous antioxidant, meaning an antioxidant that your own body produces, an antioxidant found within your body. However, SOD depletes dramatically as we age. Just like glutathione, just like coenzyme Q10, so many other endogenous antioxidants deplete as we age. We don't have anything in our product line to date that helps boost SOD levels until now, all right? It also contains other antioxidants, GPX, CAT, this is catalase, an enzyme, another endogenous antioxidant known as catalase. And just so you're aware of what these endogenous antioxidants do, they scavenge free radicals. Superoxide dismutase means it dismantles charged oxygen molecules, right? The bad oxygen. And so SOD is very important for human health. But Marine One also contains, again, microdoses of all the fatty acids, microdoses of all the amino acids, microdoses of all the pigments. Do you remember how in my training on the one I talked about the reds and blues and greens and yellows and oranges and all the wonderful antioxidants and their colors that are found in the one? Well, they're also found in microdoses in Marine One as well. So it's a highly nutrient-dense food. And the way we can maintain all of these nutrients from this Tetraselmis chewy, this particular strain, is there's a patented production process. It's pretty cool, actually. They take a special type of water, and again, this is all, the location is proprietary, the method is patented. But there is a special lake that's got this highly alkaline type water, and they pump this lake water into these great big long tubes. And then they introduce the algae. And this particular type of phytoplankton, all it needs is the nutrients from that lake and sunlight, and it begins to multiply and breed. So we're not pulling anything from the ocean. This company actually grows it. And as it grows and fills up these tubes, they then harvest it and restart the process. So it's very sustainable. So you have the injecting the phytoplankton into these tubes, adding this really pure alkaline water. And this lake does contain lots of trace elements and everything that helps the phytoplankton grow. They grow through a growth stage in these beautiful glass tubes, and then they harvest it, and then they purify it through a centrifugation process. I won't get too much into details in that, but it is a patented process. And then they freeze dry it, also using a flash freeze drying method that preserves 99.98% of the nutrients. And then lastly, it becomes a final product. Now we take it to our facility where we then put it in these individual serving packets so that they stay fresh over a 2-year shelf life on these. I mean, you could put these through your washing machine cycle in this nice little packet here, and I'll show you why, stays fresh. So when you open it up, you'll see there's this little foil liner inside, and then there's your Marine One. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take this because it might be good for my allergies too. I don't know, but we're going to try it here. So you just pull it out. There's your nice little dissolvable oral strip. You place it right on the top of your tongue. And then it sticks to the roof of your mouth, which is why I'm able to continue talking. Now, remember how I said that normally this smells and tastes like 10-week-old dead rotten fish, right? Our research and development team combined some amazing ingredients that for some reason blend so well. When I say ingredients, flavors, natural flavors that blend so well with this. When I just stuck this in my mouth, it felt like I stuck a piece of raw coconut in my mouth. And then I'm starting to experience the lime and a touch near the end of mint. This is a coconut lime mojito flavor. And it is amazing. Guys, I lived in Japan 7 years. And you would think that would get me used to eating like raw fish and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it did not. I love Japanese street food, but I do not like sushi, never really have. I'm a cooked fish eater. In fact, not to get sidetracked, but they would bring my sushi out. And in Japan, they always have like a little bowl of soup or something hot. And sometimes it's got a little candle underneath it. I would always take my sashimi and put it in my soup bowl and just cook my fish for 5 or 10 minutes before I'd eat it. I can't stand fish. I can't stand smelly fish. I love this. There is no smelly fishiness to it at all. Coconut lime mojito all the way. And my strip is already dissolved. It's gone. It's getting into my bloodstream right now. And what good is that going to do me? I'm going to share with you some really cool clinical studies. Well, before I do the clinical studies, let me give you some of the known benefits of taking marine phytoplankton on a daily basis. First and foremost, fertility. For those women out there struggling and men struggling to be more fertile, there's studies on marine phytoplankton consumption and fertility. There's studies on vision improvement. To date, when I look at our product line, we've got great antioxidants. We've got a great sleep product. We have the most amazing 3-in-1 energy, hydration, mood enhancing product out there. We have an amazing nutritional product, which by the way does contain natural pigments and colors that may help your vision. But there's actual studies on vision improvement with marine phytoplankton. There's studies for cardiovascular health. And I'll touch on that in one of the clinical studies later. There's studies for weight management. There's studies for cellulite metabolism. So not just maintaining a healthy weight, but actually like metabolizing the white and yellow bad fat that builds up in your body in those yucky cellulite areas, right? Your belly and the buttocks and the areas where you don't want fat building up. And there are studies for improvement of hearing. These are just some of the known studies and benefits of taking this particular Tetraselmis chewy marine phytoplankton. Let me actually read some of the studies before we get into a little bit more on the packaging and the product. In a randomized placebo-controlled clinical study, Tetraselmis chewy increased blood cell oxygen carrying capacity by over 13% in athletes. Kennedy, I want you to take that little clip right there and I want you to post that all over social media because athletes need to know. Now look, in fact, I've got a friend, his name's David, who's one of those like extreme long distance runners, like the 100-mile runners and stuff like this. And I've traveled with this man, and when we were in Taiwan together, he stayed an extra day just so he could run the trails in the mountains of eastern Taiwan. I don't remember how many miles he covered, but it was like 30 or 40 miles in just the day there. He told me that if he can increase his time by just a few seconds, now we're talking miles and miles and miles, right? That's a big deal for a long distance runner. Of course, a few minutes is like amazing. This said it increased blood cell oxygen carrying capacity by over 13% in athletes. Now, many of you know like the extreme cyclist scandal. I'm not going to mention names or anything, but they were actually doing blood transfusions with more highly oxygenated blood to increase performance. You know, it's too bad. He could have done it perhaps just by taking marine phytoplankton and increase that oxygen level by 13%. It's a crazy beneficial study. So you got to get in front of these athletes and show them this study. In another study, similarly, hemoglobin levels increased by roughly 5%. Now, hemoglobin is the red stuff inside of your red blood cells, right? It's made up of iron and other nutrients, and hemoglobin is what allows your body to carry more oxygen. So hemoglobin levels increased by 5%, which of course in turn would increase your oxygen carrying capacity. I'm running out of time, so I'm not going to go into too many other studies, but I want you to know that this product in this oral strip form, we're the only company selling it. If you want, you know, marine phytoplankton from somewhere else, you're going to have to eat dead, rotten, smelly, fishy tasting crap, because that's what it all tastes like pretty much. But in the oral dissolvable strips, I don't see anybody else selling it out there. And for only $69. Now, I have seen marine phytoplankton, I'll be perfectly honest, as low as $49, but as high as $129, and the average is between $80 and $100, somewhere around there. So again, keeping ourselves true to what we do at LifeWise, having a true wholesale product for $69, 30 strips. When I open up this little package here, you're going to see 10 strips in each of this. It's going to give you some key benefits of the product right here. It's going to show you how to open it and put the oral strip on your tongue. And then we've got all these cool stats on marine phytoplankton with, by the way, a couple of tests that were done on marine phytoplankton. These were OREX score tests. Yes, I know there's people out there saying, hey, I remember the OREX score. XYZ company from the acai berry said that their OREX score was like 10,000, and the goji berries is like 16,000, and I think somebody else is saying that their OREX score is like 18,000 or whatever with their, now I forgot there was hell. Oh, the maki berry or something, right? Guess what? 33,000 on the OREX score. It like more than doubles any other fruit and veggie that I've seen out there. It's huge. 33,000 on the OREX score. You can't beat it. Just can't beat it. Yeah. If I can read that small font. Yeah, it's like, I can't read it. Oh, there's like super concentrated melon extracts that are 14,000 on the OREX score, and then marine phytoplankton is 30,000. I believe like the maki berry is like 18,000 on OREX score, but I do remember acai being like 10 to 12,000. Anyway, so 3 times better than acai and things like that as far as antioxidant scavenging activity. So when you order Marine One, which is available now, it's all over back offices. If you're already a partner, if you're not a partner, reach out to whoever shared this video with you. They can send you a link to buy, because again, we are an affiliate direct sales program where you can just join as a customer for free, or you can become an affiliate for free. But check out marine phytoplankton, month supply, 30 strips, $69. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope that you now have a better idea of exactly what this ingredient is and what it does and what it can benefit you for. I will see you next week, Tuesday, but in the meantime, have a great evening. Bye.